Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. Today we're going to be diving deep into the world of modern enterprise architecture. Specifically, how AI is totally changing things up, like from the apps we use every day to how companies are, protecting themselves from cyber threats.
Yeah.
And guess what? We've even got some cool real-world examples to see how this is all playing out.
Awesome.
So are you ready to jump in?
Let's do it.
All right. First up, we've got this 2024 Digital Enterprise Maturity Index report. And this report really shows us how distributed, like hybrid and API-driven businesses are becoming these days.
Yeah.
And here's a stat that kind of blew my mind. The average company now manages more APIs than actual applications. Isn't that crazy?
It is. That shift to having more APIs than apps is a pretty big deal. It really shows just how important APIs have become in the modern business world. They're the glue that holds everything together in this increasingly digital world.
I love that the glue. So APIs let different systems talk to each other, right?
Yeah.
Which is like super crucial as businesses rely more on cloud services and, microservices and all these distributed systems.
Absolutely. The more of these connections you have, though, the more challenging it becomes to keep everything secure.
Makes sense. Now, the report also dives into something called the scale cube, which is all about like different app delivery patterns.
Hmm.
Can you break that down for us a little?
Sure. Think of it this way. Imagine your app suddenly becomes super popular, like everyone is using it, and you need to scale it up really fast without it crashing. The scale cube gives you this framework to make those decisions.
Okay, so walk us through it. What are our options here?
So the scale cube basically breaks down scaling into three axes, X, Y, and Z. And each one is a different way to handle that growth. X is kind of your basic horizontal scaling, like just adding more servers to handle all that extra traffic.
Right. That's the one that everyone's familiar with, right?
Right.
Just throw more servers at the problem.
Yeah, exactly. But then the Y and Z axes get a bit more sophisticated. The Y-axis is about breaking down your application into smaller independent services. So picture like your shopping app. The login part could be handled by one set of servers, while the checkout process is handled by a completely different group. That way you can focus resources right where they're needed the most.
So you're not just adding more servers, you're getting smarter about how they're organized.
Right, exactly. Now, the Z-axis, it takes things even further. It's about splitting your data, so traffic gets routed based on, like a username or device ID. This helps with those bottlenecks and even data privacy regulations.
So the scale cube isn't just about handling more users. It's about being more strategic and smarter with your resources as you grow.
Exactly.
Love it. Now let's bring in a real-world example of all this in action. We've got this cool case study on Crawford & Company. They're a global insurance claims management company, and they actually used AI to help them through this really complex cloud migration.
Yeah. Crawford & Company's story is something a lot of companies are dealing with right now. They had to, move away from those traditional data centers and embrace the cloud to, lower costs, become more agile, and take advantage of all those new technologies.
Right. Cloud is like the name of the game these days, but managing security across all those different cloud providers, that's got to be tough, right?
It is a massive challenge. Your applications and data are spread out everywhere, which makes it much harder to keep things secure. That's where this F5 distributed cloud services came in. It's a cloud-based solution that allowed Crawford & Company to manage security from one central point, even though their data was spread across tons of different platforms.
So it's kind of like a single control panel for all their cloud security, regardless of where their data is actually stored.
Yeah, exactly. And the best part is it made their security operations so much simpler. Things that used to take months, like applying security policies, could be done in minutes.
Wow, that's a serious time saver. So what are the big takeaways for our listener here? What can we learn from what Crawford & Company did?
Two key things really stand out. First, you absolutely have to bake security into your cloud strategy from the very beginning. You can't just move everything to the cloud and hope for the best. You need a good, solid plan to protect your data and your users in that new environment.
Yeah. It seems like so many companies are rushing to the cloud, and they might forget that crucial first step.
Yeah, definitely. And the second thing is cloud-based security solutions are very powerful, especially in this multi-cloud world we live in. They give you that flexibility and scalability and automation that you need to keep up with all those constantly evolving threats.
Right. So even though the technology is, it's complex, the goal of AI in web app and API security is actually pretty simple, right?
Yeah. It all boils down to delivering amazing digital experiences while at the same time, keeping your data and your users safe. It's about finding that perfect balance between rapid innovation and really strong security, and AI is helping us do just that.
Awesome. That's it for this part of our deep dive into AI and the modern enterprise.